Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome back to Oh God, Oh God, Oh God, every decision is going to lead to my downfall. Suzerain, hello. We're going to read the news first, and if you recall, last time we took the bribe from the oligarchs to be like, yo, make sure that Underhull gets the contract. I'm like, well, shit, alright, fine. The Whole Sword Post says the following. Kibiner suggests expanding executive powers. The leader of NFP, Casaro Kibiner, has suggested that the new Constitution should expand executive powers, adding fuel to the debate over the possibility of reforming the 1929 Constitution. He pointed out that the current dire situation in Sordland has and emphasized the need for a strong leadership. The current Constitution suggests a division of executive power between the cabinet and the president, who has no immunity before the courts for acts of treason and unconstitutional behavior during office. In this system suggested by the NFP, the president would have absolute immunity before the courts, and it is the president who would chair the cabinet. It is not clear yet whether the suggestion would spark further debate in the Reform Committee with the PFJP and the USP. Oh yeah, we deploy more police. The PFJP proposal had suggested that the president should have no presidential decrees might result in the abolishment of the assembly and take the country into an early election, despite the independents' counter-proposal to give a similar power to the parliament to take down the president, but the detail was not shared with the press in yesterday's press conference. Sorry if my phone is annoying. President Anton Rayne announced to have sped up the development of the police forces and boosted recruitment upon the protests and riots that popped up around the country, which was triggered by the death of Circus. According to the chief of police, Grazer, police ranks now across Sordland will soon be bolstered by an additional 3,000 officers who are under training but are now to be deployed immediately. He also added that the recruitment target for next year may also be increased, along with some expansion of the capabilities of police academies. This doesn't point out one way or another if it has good or bad effects. The Lockhaven Times. Let's see here. Reform demands gain popularity. Demands for reform are gaining more popularity than ever. Latest public opinion reports show that the majority of the Sordish people want changes in the government structure that were established after Tarquin Sol's military coup in 1929. The public trust in the Grand National Assembly and the Supreme Court is at an all-time low. While rumors of reform talks are coming out of the Assembly, it seems unlikely that without complete unity, none of the parties would be able to lead such a proposal. In order to change the Constitution, the proposal must collect at least 150 signatures and then reach the needed 166 votes. If the proposal passes the Assembly, it is still subject to another voting in the Supreme Court, as well as judicial review, which still stands as the biggest obstacle before the parties. Yeah, we haven't really done much to get votes or unite the parties in any way whatsoever yet. Alright, let's see what the Radical has to say about me. Workers' Party Solidarity March, Bludish citizens targeted, Rayne adds fuel to the fire. Of course. The pro-minority Workers' Party of Bludia rally in the Bludish majority city of Suzerain attracted a large audience. The gathering was heavy on flags and banners, whipping the rain and chill wind as the gatherers declared solidarity with Bernard Circus. Among the speakers at the rally was Mansoon Leek, a Bludish member of Assembly, who was standing as the leader of the independents in the Grand National Assembly. Although not a member of the WPB, he was the leading figure at the event. Who was this? Sordish politician of Bludish descent, member of the Assembly, Education, Whole Sword, Department of Literature. What's he been doing recently? In the 49 election, he got 6% of the general vote, failing to pass the election threshold. He later resigned from his position despite protests from his own party, ran as an independent in the 1953 election to bypass the threshold. He was elected as a member of Assembly in 1953. We will win again foil this war plot that has set by the Solist ideology, he said in reference to the series of conflicts and bloodshed during Tarquin Sol's term as president, which claimed thousands of Bludish lives. We will come out of this tunnel of conflict. We will not only win against discrimination, we will win the truth. When we have all together foiled this trick of polarization, Our songs of peace, which spread from Izam, will ring out even stronger all over Sordland. The League added in reference to the Izam incident in 1933, which triggered Tarkin Sol's prosecution of Bluish minorities, the formation of the militant organization Bluish Freedom Front. Bluish citizens targeted. 20 Bluish citizens were attacked by a group of people suspected to be members of the Young Swords during their peaceful protests to support Bernard Circus. The group was overwhelmed, and the local police forces couldn't reach the protesters to protest them amidst the chaotic crowd. Attackers ran away without getting caught, and 11 of the victims were hospitalized with crucial injuries. Something, my problem, my fault. Okay, the government is increasing in the number of active police forces in cities in light of current events that span the entire Sordland. Earlier today, President Rayne announced a boost of the recruitment drive and an immediate deployment of trainees from the Swordish police academies, deciding to use force to quell the protests instead of listening to reason. This was, of course, an expected reaction from the USP president, who not only has insecurities about Sordland, but also of his own party and his own wisdom. In these days of pain and suffering, we advise everyone to show restraint, peacefully protest, and be hopeful despite the negative developments. The government might have forgotten about us, but we still have our idea of a peaceful community and a life to live ahead of us. Whether it's another president or a colonel, don't let them decide for you. All right. That's neat. Let's get some reports from Lenkirk. Finalization. Ooh, actually, this is very interesting. All right, this is a whole ass scene, but I want to read it anyway. After driving through the cliffside roads, we arrived in Lenkirk. There, chiefful citizens greet us, and the local government officials escorted us to City Hall. Here, a significant meeting about the H3 project. Oh, yeah, look at it go. Take place. Several construction companies sent their representatives to the City Hall. Even though Gus Manger couldn't make the meeting, I had Simon Hall and Lilius Graff by my side. Besides starting our economic recovery, the travel time by road will drop by more than a half, Mr. President. This project will improve the England region. I have lived with these people and seen them suffer. I trust your plan, Simon. I hope so, Lilius. I trust your plan, Simon. Not about hope. I'm about results and actions. I'm glad to hear that. We should be able to slow down the recession if we follow this project successfully. Finish. Positive financial outcomes are expected. According to my sources, this can lift many out of poverty in these areas. All it takes to stop the recession. What kind of end results do we expect? Failure during this project is not an option. Do we need additional support? What kind of end results do we expect? Short-term employment and long-term economic development in the Nargis and England regions. The underdeveloped cities of Landkirk and Arvory will receive a lot more investment after this. Simon searched the documents he was holding and found the one he was looking for. I have the overview of the companies here. Simon handed the files over to me. Look at the file. Oh man, I could look elsewhere, but no, I'm going to look at these files. 3 corporations were listed. The Sordid State Corporation, Underhall Construction, and Taurus Holding. I reviewed them. I also took the liberty of asking the mayor of Arvory to give his opinion on the matter. Which corporation should we talk about? You know what? Let's get the opinions of others. We're only talking, we're not deciding yet. I just want to make that perfectly clear. We're not choosing, we're just discussing. The respected Sordid State Corporation, also known as the SSC, was founded in 1891. It is the main state corporation tasked with running the day-to-day construction services of our country. The SSC is one of the most trusted and honorable companies. They have served us a long time. I've worked with them on several occasions. It would fulfill your initial election promise of using a state-dominant planned economy to improve the bleak economic prospect. Shit! My bribe, though! Shit! They have the experience and the manpower to pull off a project like this. Lilius paused for a second. Secondly, they are the only company to have worked in the England region out of all the 3 corporations. The outdated construction methods that they use concern me. They are several decades behind. The experience they bring to the table is beneficial. The lack of modern attitude is disappointing. The experience they bring to the table is beneficial. But I don't agree with the negative statements for the SC. Their record clearly shows completed contracts with thousands of employees who have more than 20 years of experience. I'm on the fence about the SSC. I like the SSC, but I want to hear... Yeah, obviously I like them. I want to hear about the others. Let's go to Taurus Holding. Taurus Holding was founded in 1946 and is owned by the entrepreneur Gerald Fraze. It is a new holding company with subsidiaries using cutting-edge technology from Arcasia to reduce construction costs and prices. They are known to provide for their workers who are part of the labor union of Sordland. Okay, so they're incredibly high-tech and they're really good about their employees. There are things Taurus does very well, like providing consultants for the state corporations, but I can't vouch for their infrastructure construction at all. Why should we pick Taurus? Why shouldn't we go with Taurus? Why is there a comma there? Why should we pick Taurus? Taurus has completed fewer projects than the other companies. However, they are slightly faster and cheaper. It won several awards internationally for being one of the fastest growing and advanced companies. The innovative aspect is refreshing, especially if they can deliver. It seems like they lack the necessary experience. Yeah, see, I'm about that experience, though. They're only involved in smaller scale regional projects. This doesn't prove their capabilities are for larger undertakings that are more complex. The project manager for Taurus Holding mentioned that they would be able to finish the project with the allocated funding. They're the only company who found the budget sufficient, making them a cheaper alternative. Okay, so this is about my budget, which is actually really important. I feel confident about Taurus Holding. Definitely worth considering due to the budgetary constraints. Underhaul construction. Now for the real meat and potatoes. The real estate and construction giant was founded in 1925. They expanded during the economic boom of the 30s. Picking this corporation would go against our planned economy policy. The CEO of Underhaul is Chris Shar, the mayor of Conrad. He sold half of his shares a few years ago. I had to work with the Underhaul construction before in Sordland. They took several contracts for the central station renovation and left much to be desired. The H3 project shouldn't be left to them. I would like to hear your thoughts, Simon. I think they have been doing relatively well in the private sector. They are dominating the construction industry with successful projects. Nevertheless, they treated their workers below our working standards during the whole Sword Central Station contract, which is troubling. Working conditions must be respected. This doesn't inspire confidence. You need to be able to trust the corporation. This is a base fulfillment for the contract. This doesn't inspire confidence. I agree. The workers were undocumented Agnolian and Wezek immigrants with no papers, a clear violation of our laws. According to them, the reason of the bad labor conditions was because of the tight completion schedule, which still doesn't justify the situation. Underhaul has specifically mentioned their solid track record and highlighted the cost of the project would be more than expected for a project of this scale, but finished on time. I'm not sure about Underhaul construction. Seems interesting, but let's see the other options. -1 government budget. I am not sure about Underhaul construction. Alright, so I'm leaning towards the traditionalist guys. Because, experience is kind of incredibly important. And even if they aren't the most advanced, if they're, trusted and, venerable, then yeah. It's time to make a decision about which company to award the H3 contract to. I have settled on the SSC. They're not as cheap as Taurus Holding, but they are definitely the preferred option in this case. I took a damn bribe, though. Oh, I feel dirty about that. Whatever. I took the bribe and then fucked them off. Good that we are staying consistent to our economic strategy. Simon signed a certain section of the dossier and fixed his glasses. Yeah, this is going to piss off the economists, but you got to do what you got to do for the country. Some of the Lotherberg group won't like this, but the contract will be awarded to the Swordish State Corporation. Very glad that we have made this choice. I can tell from my experience that we'll be very satisfied with this corporation. The company... Yeah, that's not good. It's just not good, man. It's just not good. The company will be notified today, and the construction work will begin immediately after. Then we are off to a great start. It's great news. Good luck to us. Yeah, good luck to us. I took a fucking huge bribe and decided to fuck them off. This is not gonna end well. God damn it. My expectations for a grand opening ceremony are late next year. I better get back to work then. Thank you. This concludes the meeting. Oh, that hurts. Meeting ended and we spent the remainder of the day attending events in Lenkirk. It was a nice day to enjoy the beauty of England and to eat some good fish. Oh, that's not gonna end well. No, though. I decided not to fill the bribe demand of the oligarchs. Few elites that have gained the riches by buying state assets cheap from privatization efforts and ended up holding vast industry complexes. Yeah, they're not gonna be very happy. Factions. The oligarchs are gonna be very upset with me. Now, thankfully, the oligarchs, which are the yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue. Oligarchs are, the centralists are not happy, but they also aren't the biggest problem. The reformists are going to be with us. The centralists are going to be pissed, and we got to get the old guards to like us, even though we're replacing them. Oh, nothing is good right now. Fuck! Alright. Whoops! There we go. Alright, so yeah, we got the highway project going up there. Highway, ooh, it's actually working now. Excellent. I love to see that. Alright, we got some news. Construction begins for the H3 highway. Yeah, I'm gonna get a call soon. Sordland State Corporation has been awarded a 2-year contract for an extensive infrastructure project. Subsequent design and construction work as part of the H3 highway expansion project in Sordland. In addition to the geotechnical ground investigation, SSC will provide the design for all civil structures, including ground retaining walls and earthworks for the highway. The SSC said it could build the line faster than the deadline at a much lower cost. According to a letter from the Economist, but opposition leader Richter has warned letting SSC build H3 would be extremely questionable. Yeah, Richter ain't happy. The H3 project involves the widening of hundreds of kilometers of existing motorway between Lockhaven and Arvory, including an open tunnel nearly 3 kilometers long. The highway will pass from Lenkirk and Arvory, and later will be expanded to the Ignolian capital, Stallport. Risky highway project. Look, it's very important. The government has announced a new mega infrastructure project to help alleviate the symptoms of the recession. When the Minister of Economy announced the launch of one of the most contested construction projects in Sordland, a new highway from Lockhaven to the Ignolian capital, Stallport. He said, this project will cross the poorest areas of Sordland, developing the region, improving foreign trade, and increasing access to employment. The contract for the project was given to the old and outdated Sordland State Corporation with the decision of the president. Mega projects such as the construction of ports, transport lines, including highways and motorways and power plants, typically cost billions of SR. They are difficult to manage due to their scale, high levels of complexity, and substantial impact on communities, the environment, and state governments. The decision of such a vital project to be given to SSC should not be taken so lightly, as they suffer from an inefficient bureaucracy that often causes delays. The management of the old company is not based on merit but political connections. Damn it. England has long been neglected as a region and was in need of serious investments in its infrastructure. While this is positive news, it is doubtful that this project was worth the money and time that it will consume. So, people aren't against me, they're conflicted, which is good. We want them to stay conflicted long enough that they don't fucking scream at me. Read the report from Narble. Situation report. Ministry of Defense reports that the situation along the border is getting tense. Rimberg's Southern Army was sighted training close to our borders and did not respond after we issued a radio message. The Chief of the Armed Forces, General Kruger, reports have increased patrolling duties along the northern border to signal readiness. Roomberg is readying. Roomberg is readying. That's all I really need, to be honest. It's like a general threat. It's like, Read the report from Enrica, local police working with nationalists. One of our agents, acting as a young swords member, had an encounter with two members of the local police force in Enrica, and Alson Balar and Vic Nezit. According to the report, the policeman tried to bribe the agent to burn down a store that belongs to a known Communist Party member to investigate further violence. We have detained policemen of charges of corruption. Yeah, good. Don't do that. Conrad, meeting with Marcel Caranti. Don't want to do that. Economic relief plan. Act to ease the economic hardship felt in the country. This is what I want to do. Okay. -1 government. All right, so we have to do something. So with the assistance of the National Business Council and the central bank, Simon Hull, that guy, put forward a countrywide relief plan to mitigate the economic hardships that are being felt. We can either provide stimulus checks for people in need or bail out businesses under serious financial strain or decide not to approve the plan. Well, we need to do something. I know it'll cost budget, but we need to do something. Provide stimulus checks for people in need. Bail out businesses under financial strain. Businesses aren't good if we don't have the people, like, helping. All right, so I'm going to do stimulus checks for people in need. -1 budget, but hopefully people like what we did. Our administration has passed a large economic relief package distributing stimulus checks to people in need. Under economy. Oh, it's nice. It's real nice. We supported citizens in need with stimulus checks, allowing them to pay for food and rent. The relief helped millions of people. Our economy should be booming soon. Soon. We're working on it, though. Anyway, now for the big one. Meeting with Marcel Caranti. We were headed to the meeting location set by Marcel Caranti, a Swedish businessman and philanthropist. The motorcade was made up of the most confidential and trustworthy team. Oh, wait. Hang on. Can I minimize that? I want to look at the news first. The Economist. Unemployment and checks. The administration has fallen for populism and the idea that giving people money will solve the problem of the economy overall. It is hard to grasp where these ideas come from, especially when long-term job growth and employment is what this country needs to secure in order to have a stable economy. What is the plan here? People will be able to pay their rents for a few months and then will fall into the same unemployment trap due to a lack of job opportunity or security. Businesses can't carry all the weight of the declining economy on their own shoulders and employ people without the help of the government. The administration needs to reevaluate their way out of the recession with realistic methods. Look, it's both. Like, you have people who get money and then, they have no opportunity, or businesses that have money and then people can't afford to purchase from them. Both are bad. After a few hours of driving along River Eskel, we took a turn before entering Conrad. The darkness started setting in as we drove up to a hill. Where are we, Serge? We are nearing the HOS Country Club, Mr. President. We'll be there shortly. We arrived at the big iron gates of the country club opened. It was huge and outright extravagant. The main building, inspired by lesbian architecture, was lit from all sides. I'm going to be shaken down, aren't I? It was rather chilling. I was approached by Peter and Lucian. I hope the journey was comfortable. Location is very remote indeed. Anything to keep me away from home? Wasn't bad. I'm looking forward to this meeting. Can't think of comfort when our country is descending into chaos. Well, when you put it like that. Enter the building. After opening the marble engraved... Sorry, Peter. I'm having a shit time right now. Wooden door, we were greeted by two tall women. Interesting. The receptionist led us to the meeting room upstairs. Marcel was standing by the window looking outside at the beautiful complex. He turned around to have a quick look at us both. He was a really handsome man with well-groomed hair. He walked towards me with a hand reached out for a handshake. Reach out for a hand. You know what? Sure. I'm going to be civil. I shook his hand. He had a firm grip. It is such a pleasure to meet you in person, Mr. Caranti. I appreciate your efforts to reach out for a mutually beneficial friendship.
Thanks for hosting us. I admired your father very much. May he rest in peace. Welcome. Your kind words have touched me. Vice President. He was indeed a great man.
May he rest in peace. He was a true entrepreneur. Please accept our condolences. We are saddened.
He would have been very happy to hear this from you, Mr. President. It's time to look forward. Let's talk about our bright futures.
Yes, there is much to discuss. Let's have a seat. I heard about your meteoric rise in HOS. Yes, there's much to discuss.
Believe it or not, I've been a secret admirer of your political success. I find your quick rise to power was shockingly well executed.
I would not be standing here if I was bad at what I do. The administration goes both ways. That admiration goes both ways. Thank you. Just simple thanks. Thanks, man. Thanks. I would not be standing here if I was bad at what I do. Marcel gently pointed at the seats. We sat down around a gigantic table before speaking. He knocked on the wood.
The past months have been tumultuous, to say the least. I'm glad you and your family were unharmed at the shooting. The whole incident may have been a shock for the kids. They aren't used to what we lived through back in the late 20s. Still remember when my father took us out of the country when it became too dangerous in Conrad.
They were startled, but the important thing is that they're safe and sound.
Of course, that is all that matters. No family should suffer from the tragedy ever again. We had enough of that. Well, I'm known to be a straightforward person, so let me get to the point without wasting your valuable time. It was during the Alfonso campaign when I was struck by what you have done within the party.
Marcel started to look at one of the paintings at the wall. Look at the painting. Give Lucian a puzzled look. From Marcel. Let me be straightforward. Sit down and get to the damn point. No. I'm not impatient here. I'm on edge, but I'm not impatient. Give Lucian a puzzled look. Lucian looked back at me and he shrugged. Then he raised his eyebrows, something that I love doing when I speak his voice. Something which he usually did when curious. Marcel pointed his finger at me.
You said we will transform this nation, Mr. Rayne. My conglomerate has a way of doing things and I don't want them to change. So I want to cooperate with you.
Cooperate? Please explain further. The intent is mutual. Keep going. Please explain further.
You might have the people's support now, Mr. President, but what happens when you make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes.
What is that supposed to mean? Let's hear his point, Vice President.
Being a president in this country means having many enemies. Enemies that resort to anything to bring you down. Let's say these enemies cause a scandal or leak sensitive information from the administration. These would be destructive when they were released.
Oh, I'm being blackmailed for my bribe.
If they were released.
I see where you were getting at. Continue. You're playing a dangerous game. Are you threatening me? I see where you are getting at.
You knew that a long time before you came here.
Let's hear your offer. What do you want in return? You aren't just being nice, are you? No. I know he's not being nice. I'm not going to be, like, speaking in Morse code all of a sudden to blurt out, like, am I being threatened with blackmail? Let's hear your offer.
I want two things, Mr. President. Number one is guarantee from you that the Rayne administration won't meddle in HOS affairs no matter what happens. This multi-industry corporation with tens of billions of SR, part of the Big Four, the four largest companies in Sordland, they're involved in nearly all industry, but a monopoly in the media industry. Oh, right, we needed you to like us. Swordfish Broadcasting Corporation was founded by Conrad Caranti, the first modern Swordfish entrepreneur. Swordfish citizens employed by the HOS have many benefits such as huge salary bonuses, free private healthcare, and free housing. In the last decade, a leadership question has engulfed the organization, which slowed down its revenue, but it still remains a behemoth that can influence the economy as well as the perception of the society on certain issues. Yeah, so this is the media guy we wanted to like us, so that people would not hate us, you know? Number two is simple gentleman's favor for the future. Let me prove my services to you first, and I'm sure you won't disapprove when the time comes.
This is an interesting proposal. How do I know that I can trust you? Very important question.
My circle advised against this. They don't even know we are meeting, Mr. President. We both put ourselves at risk here, but I'm willing to trust you. The question is, are you willing to trust me and accept this offer?
I have 2 people here that I trust that are here with me that haven't objected yet. So, what do you think about this, Lucian? You have been awfully silent, Peter. I'm not going to accept quite yet. I want to get opinions first. Peter leaned to my ears and whispered, I think he's getting more out of this than we are. The issue tied to his request must be so important for him that he's offering this risky deal. We need to be cautious. If we get caught or this gets out, I can't imagine the consequences. Marcel interrupted us.
So, do we have a deal?
We have to be very careful not to piss off the media, but also, if the media is in our pocket, then it doesn't matter if it gets out, because it won't, because the media is in our pocket. We have a deal.
Happy to hear that. You can contact me personally through this number.
Through this 1-800 number.
As soon as you know that a story against you will break, please call me and it'll be taken care of. Hope you will hold your end of this bargain as well.
Shake his hand. A deal is a deal. You can bet on it as long as you do. This is me specifically stating that I am only in this as far as you're in this. The instant you step out, I'm jumping.
You can count on me. We will meet again. Goodbye.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Caronti. An offer you cannot refuse, this achievement says. Hang on one moment. Make a backroom deal with Marcel Caronti to control media outlets. Yeah, not the cleanest, but you know, we gotta keep in control. Return to Whole Sword. We returned to Whole Sword. Overview, panel updated. Yeah, we got a few situations going on. We got one that's dire. And let's see what's going on. Law. Media bias. The media in Sordland is experiencing organized influence from the state and private organizations. Now, this is not going to end well, but we gotta make a few problems before we can solve a lot of problems, alright? See that economy? See that budget? Those need to be up. You see, that right there? I gotta fix education, which haven't even begun yet. It's already turned 2. We struck a backroom deal, mutual assistance deal with Marcel Caronti. Okay, that'll have to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. God, everything sucks. That'll be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, from Keywii, we're to yourself a delightful day. I love you all. Goodbye.